What's at stake for Clemson in the ACC tournament going forward? We will talk about it in this video. Before we do, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of our exclusive Clemson content we put out every single week. And do I have a treat for you tonight? Because it's not just me doing this video. It is the three stooges tonight, Big Al and Mr. Houston Burnett, joining me to talk about this subject, specifically Clemson basketball, who at the time of this recording is about an hour away from facing North Carolina State. So right now, I mean, to me, it's a gimme game. Toss up. Clemson has beaten North Carolina State in the past. Actually very soundly, but you never know what's going to happen in the postseason when it comes to basketball. One team gets hot, goes on a streak at the right time, and you just never know. Houston, we'll start with you. ACC tournament, quarterfinals. Clemson's been able to rest, really, and get ready for this game for Thursday. Hadn't had to start from the beginning the first day as they have in the past, but they've had that chance now. What do you think is in store for them in the outlook for the ACC tournament?
You know, it's one of those things that it's been a roller coaster season, enough to the point where I can see this going either way for Clemson. We've seen Clemson dominate teams by 20 plus, even 40 this year in conference play, and then we've seen them lose to 3-23 teams this year, which has gotten them in the situation this year. But they're backs against the wall. I don't think anyone is expecting them to do anything, and that's honestly when Brad Brownell does well. I like to harp on him a lot, but I think he does well when nobody expects him to do that much. And I think he'll have the team ready, hopefully for tonight against NC State. I'm expecting them to play well.
Alan, I know in postseason basketball, again, it's difficult to judge what's going to happen. Again, Clemson previously beat North Carolina State, so they've obviously played them in the past. I'm pulling it up here. The last time they played them is just a few weeks ago at North Carolina State. They beat them 96-71 and had the lead the entire game, just really dominant. I mean, that's a huge, huge win. Is that possible again, or was that kind of anomaly? Do you expect a big win in a postseason, or is that just too hard to predict?
Well, look, it is hard to predict, but for several reasons. Because first of all, Clemson beat them, I think, by double digits at home. They crushed them on the road, as you just mentioned, at NC State. And what's fascinating is after both of those head-to-head matchups, I'm a Vegas guy. We are like 2 or 3 point underdogs tonight. All right. So that right off the bat tells me something fishy is going on, that Vegas may know something. Who knows? Vegas is wrong from time to time. It's not often, but they are wrong from time to time. Nobody would have picked Clemson to beat NC State by 25 when they played NC State. I promise you that. So it's not that we can't win this game. A lot of people like to say you can't beat it. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. I think that's nonsense, especially with how Clemson has played against NC State. What's going to be fascinating to me is, how are these guys shooting tonight? That's kind of been the whole season. Are they shooting or are they not? Because when they're shooting, they can beat anybody in the country, and when they're not, they can lose to anybody in the country. We've seen it both ways. So it's going to be fun because they've got NC State's got the real big dude down low. Houston can tell me what his name is right off the bat, and I should know it.
It's DJ Burns. He went to Winthrop. Yeah.
Okay. Huge dude. And what was fun about the last game Clemson had with NC State on the road was Clemson jumped out to a big lead right off the bat, and then NC State figured out all we've really got to do is get this big guy down low, and he went to work and did really well, and we had no answer for that guy, really. I mean, other than the fact that our players were playing well also, but if they get him the ball and we don't have anybody that can physically man up with that guy, this is going to be a tough game and could go down to the wire. It's not going to be the blowouts it has been in these past 2 games. I'm thinking it's going to be a really close one, coin toss.
Houston, right now, the ESPN Analytics matchup predictor has 57.4% to North Carolina State. Let me ask you, just looking at the entire postseason tournament with the ACC, let's say that Clemson loses this game. All right, let's start with the negative, because I like the negative. What if Clemson loses this game? That puts them at 22-10 overall. I listened this morning on the radio. A lot of callers said, well, NC State's going to be in no matter what happens tonight, but Clemson needs it badly So if they lose, then does this really kind of ruin their tournament hopes as far as the NCAA tournament goes?
Pretty much, yeah. You're at the point now where as Clemson stands right now, there's a path with a couple of teams as it stands at 8:23 p.m. on Thursday evening. There are teams that weren't supposed to lose today that have lost. One of the teams that was ahead of them was Nevada. Nevada just lost to San Jose State. Michigan just lost to Rutgers today. North Carolina's down at halftime, 25-24 to Virginia right now. Each of those teams were ahead of Clemson. Wisconsin lost. So those teams that were ahead of Clemson have kind of, they're in limbo until what happens with this Clemson game this evening. If Clemson loses, you're already in the next four out. You're likely looking at the NIT. I mean, you are looking at the NIT for real this time. It just seals your fate as far as that goes. So there's a path there, but you have to win tonight. Otherwise, you're fading.
Now, Alan, let's look at the positive. I'll give you the positive, Al, because I love you. Everybody says I hate on Houston, and I'm just further cementing that opinion there by giving him the negative. So, Alan, let's say that Clemson beats NC State. It looks like odds are they would play the next game against either Virginia or North Carolina. Let's just say Virginia, and then the championship game after that. Who knows who they play? Pitt, Miami. I mean, any of those teams over there. I mean, that's the thing about this ACC tournament is like any of these teams could actually make it all the way. Outside of the ones that you would expect, like Miami and Virginia, right? The 1 and 2. So if Clemson beats North Carolina State like they have in the regular season, does that vault them into solidifying them out of the bubble, like finally in there, finally can take a breath, or do they need to then win another game?
Well, it's certainly not going to get them off the bubble. Whether it gets them as one of those last bubble teams in, maybe it does. I think it's embarrassing that they're not already one of those last few teams in. I think it's pathetic. Third in the ACC. I don't understand how you can't be in. I don't care. You can talk about the wins. You can talk about the bad losses. Whatever it is. I just think Clemson has shown too much this year to not be in the tournament. I think if they win 2, they're in for sure. I think if they win 1, with Houston talking about some of the bubble teams that we had that lost today, I think that helps out a good bit. I think they should be in if they beat NC State, no doubt. You don't want to beat NC State tonight and then go play potentially Virginia or North Carolina and then get blown out. You'd want that to be a closer game. All that helps with the net rating and, that ridiculous, analytic we're using to judge how good people are this year. It's complete trash, in my opinion. I've been following a little bit this year, and I had a conversation with, Asher, a friend of ours earlier, and we were talking about, if Clemson, or he said if Clemson's third in the ACC, they're going to have to get in, right? And I was like, I don't know. It's kind of trending that direction, and this net thing is wild. And here we are at the end of the season. Sure enough, Clemson finishes third in the conference, and they are firmly on the bubble and really need a victory tonight, just potentially to make it in. And we don't even know if an NC State victory gets them in. I think it should, but again, I think they should be in already. But if they get 2, they're definitely in my opinion. They get 1, I think you're looking at about a 55% shot, something like that. So I'm going to be having a lot on the line tonight. We're going to have a lot on the line tonight as Clemson fans. It's going to be a fun game. Hopefully, it's kind of March Madness, baby. We're getting close to it. You can kind of feel those games that are tight and they go down to the wire, buzzer beaters and whatnot. And it's not good for my nerves, but as long as you pull out victorious, it's real cool in the end.
Well, Clemson, in my opinion, they are where they are because of what has happened. I mean, they lost some games that were you just can't lose them if you're a good team. But they've also had some long stretches of wins where, they have outperformed what we thought they would have done. We thought that they were going to be 11th in the ACC. And as you mentioned in the past, third in the ACC would be a lock. But this year has been, I don't really like to say down year, even though it really has for the top dogs. It's just different players in the game. Not normally your big Louisville's and Florida State's up there at the top. It's different teams. But those teams that are up there, like Clemson, do have some blemishes on the resume, even from early in the season, which is just unfortunate. But Again, guys, thank you so much. Hey, if you're watching this video, make sure you like the video and put in the comments what you think. The game starting 9:30 tonight. I'm going to try to get this video out, so if you're seeing it, hopefully, it's before the game. But if not, we'd still love to get your comments on what you think Clemson can do in the ACC tournament going forward and in the postseason, where you think they will go. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you at the top of the hill.